team in the SEC Conference. We're going to build the best football program in the SEC Conference.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
The kick, it's been blocked again! How about it? It's been blocked again! It's going to heat one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! How about it? I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw. Pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Norrie! It's Norrie! Got a touchdown! Norrie's got a touchdown! Oh, man! Norrie's got a touchdown!
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out the winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
Brethren, beautiful Monday morning, November. Sunshine is outside. It's beautiful. No complaints on this side. How you boys
It's
been?
chilly. It's chilly over here. Nick, I know you're cold up there.
Woke up to walk the dog this morning. Just sandals, shorts, a hoodie, 43 degrees, back inside. Dog looked at me like, hey, I thought we were going outside. And I said, you got to hold on a minute, buddy. Hold your horses.
Not today.
Cold as hell up here. Beautiful right now. The sun's out, 55. Love this time of weather. Would like for the weather just to figure it out though, because like last week it was like 78.
No, I got sweaters and stuff I want to wear, so I don't mind when we get a little break. I used to like think cold as hell didn't make sense, and then I realized it was HAIL.
Didn't know that. I thought it was just an expression, cold as hell.
Me too, but that expression wouldn't make sense, Nick. But if you like did some research, I seen it on Twitter. Shout out to Twitter. Somebody says actually cold as HAIL. That makes more sense. Food for thought.
Hail. It's ice.
Yeah, cold as ice.
Wow. I think, looks like the internet is going back and forth. They're saying it's an oxymoron. I don't know, but I like both interpretations. Let us know in the comments what you think. Is it cold as hell, cold as hail, or you don't really care? You want the Gators to hire a new coach, which is probably what a lot of people are already yelling and screaming about this morning. The internet and Twitter has been in shambles for weeks and months, and Silk, just getting old. I've been less on the timeline recently, although I did get my first payment of Elon bucks recently. So shout out to Elon Musk.
What you get, man? Is it more money than the Ruiz bread and those dividends?
Yeah, like, far more. Probably 20x the Ruiz bucks that I got.
So you got 25 cents?
No, I got it more than I thought. So shout out to FSU. They were mad. They kept retweeting. They kept commenting. They kept, bringing it up in their group chats. I loved it because I just hit the old mute this thread or whatever it is, mute the conversation, and just had myself a day. Yeah.
Mute and leave the conversations are the most beautiful features on the X app for sure. Shout out to Elon for that feature.
Yeah. Shout out to Elon Bucks. But boys, I saw Nate Bargatze on Saturday night again. Incredible performance. A couple other people were there. Great comedian, absolutely hilarious. All new stuff. If you've watched some of his specials on Netflix and Amazon, all new material. Absolutely hysterical. You got to. He's
a clean comic.
Yeah, it's a clean comic. It's not like a religious thing or anything else. Just a clean comic, family show type stuff. It's not for like kids, right? Like conversations are definitely elevated, but just doesn't curse. So.
Yeah, I used to like Sinbad, man. That was one of my mom's favorite comics because he didn't curse, and I thought he was brilliant at what he did. And also, may not be popular, but Bill Cosby was a real good comic that didn't curse in his time, man. So, hey, man,
he wasn't cursing,
but yeah, he was doing some other shit. But I mean, he still was funny,
That is wild. We have our first Bill Crosby mention less than 5 minutes into the show today.
Well, that's Bing Crosby. It's Bill Cosby.
Same thing.
I know you're in the Christmas spirit,
really.
Nick.
I am. Big Christmas spirit. I think it's my song of the week. We got a banger. We got a song of the week, Christmas banger.
Jingle Bells by Mariah Carey.
Shout out Anthony saw Bargatze yesterday. There's a couple mentions about defensive line coach in here. We'll get into those a little bit more. As always, we want to thank the folks over at Gatorverse. This will be our last show together. Those things happen. Really proud of our relationship with them. I know that you guys supported them very heavily. So thank you so much. Don't stop supporting them. But again, go visit Gatorverse.io. They're working with the women's basketball team, volleyball team, men's basketball team. I'm going to be working with a lot more sports around the University of Florida. So again, Gata, that's GATAVERSE.io. Again, Gatorverse.io. Support UF NIL initiatives at the University of Florida. All right, guys, we got transfer portal, recruiting, and coaching. What do we want to tackle first? Coaching? That makes the most sense?
That works.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I got to grab my glasses real quick because I can't see the comments, man. So just bear with me 1 second, fellas. I'm sorry.
And while you do that, smash the like button. All right, so obviously we talked about a few weeks ago the Gators moved on from Corey Raymond and Sean Spencer, defensive line coach, defensive back coach, respectively. Sean Spencer has landed at Texas A&M. Corey Raymond is still in the process of probably dealing with his suitors and getting his next opportunity. With that being said, a lot of rumors, a lot of hot boards, a lot of people asking about this coach and that coach. Is Florida going to promote internally? Who are they going to hire for all of these roles? It has been not officially announced yet, but Zach Albaverdi on Tuesday of last week, said that the Gators were honing in on Chargers defensive backs coach Will Harris, who had previously coached at Georgia Southern as a defense coordinator, previously coached at Washington as a defensive backs coach, that they would be targeting him. Yesterday, before the Chargers played, Zach Albaverdi put that out, that Will Harris will be the new defensive backs coach at the University of Florida. It has been mentioned on recruiting visits. He's been liking recruits' tweets and social media. He's been following them. Obviously follows a lot of the coaching staff. Still waiting for an official announcement, I believe, from the University of Florida. But Will Harris will be the new defensive backs coach at the University of Florida. Thoughts?
First of all, man, like, don't be disrespecting my eyesight, bro. You know, blind lives matter. I think it's a really good hire. To keep it real with you, young 36-year-old guy, NFL experience. His resume and who he's put in the league, I think, is remarkable. I see the comparison. Shout out to Chris Sorley. That's my dude. Rocks with you, my boy. But Corey Raymond was towards the end. I think towards on the latter end of his career. What is he, in his 50s? If I'm not mistaken, what's Corey Raymond? 51, 52, something like that. Younger guys relate better on the recruiting trail. I know NIL 54. And all that. 54, right? Woo. So a 36-year-old guy, big difference in age. So relatability on the trail is going to hit with him. I know the Chargers defense the secondary hasn't been the greatest, but just looking at his resume, Trent McDuffie, Kansas City Chiefs first-round draft pick, Byron Murphy Jr., Minnesota Vikings second-round draft pick, Kyler Gordon second-round draft pick, Taylor Rapp for the Buffalo Bills second-round draft pick. So he got something to sell on the trail when it pertains to who he's put in the league, and also played at USC with Pete Carroll, played big-time ball. I'm not mad at it at all. I like the hire.
He's not even the secondary coach there. He was like an assistant secondary coach
for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Defensive passing game coordinator / secondary coach is Tom Donatel. I think it's the one thing that I guess I would question is just he spent 1 year at Georgia Southern. Other than that, just a West Coast guy. So how do you recruit? A bunch of Washington fans in my mentions yesterday saying he was awful recruiting at Washington. But they had some really good secondaries as he was, coaching them. So to me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, I think you're going to be judged on how you can recruit down here and do you have the ties? Not saying that he doesn't, but I just don't know. Other than the 1 year at Georgia Southern has been, Oklahoma or west of Oklahoma.
That was some of my thoughts when we got Kerry Colbert as well. But he kind of hit down here. Being young and black is just it helps you recruit, especially in Florida, just being able to relate. But you got to want to recruit too. And a lot of these guys that come from the NFL don't want to recruit. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like I'm saying, I've been saying it. Like if I'm a college coach and I have the opportunity to go to the NFL, I'm heading there. But then you look at it like, what is the charge? Like the Chargers are bad. Is Brandon Staley going to get fired? Are you going to have a job? It might just be like getting out and getting ahead of it. But like the quality of life for a college football coach right now is just trash. Just trash because of the calendar and NIL and transfer portal recruiting. Like we have stories on our site, from the last couple of months of so-and-so 2026 commit. So you're recruiting 2025, 4, 6, your current class to keep them on the roster, your current players to keep them on the roster, hearing from other people about, hey, this so-and-so at X school might be in the portal and starting to like do research on them. There's just like no break. It's just a trash calendar that the NCAA has to figure out for these coaches. You're going to start losing some of your best, at least best assistant coaches to the NFL.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something. And I know Chris said he had a super chat. Thanks, Chris, for that. Again, reminding, he said Will Harris, pardon me. Horace.
That's like milk.
Will Harris over Corey Raymond. I don't think it's an apples and oranges replacement the way that we like to think it is. It's very, very different when you're looking at coaching staffs, when you're looking at replacement. It's not, in my opinion, that Florida is looking to say, hey, Will Harris, we believe that you're a better defensive backs coach than Corey Raymond on paper. We're not trying to compare resumes. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of want and wanting to stick around. There's the desire to do it. What are his intentions? Does Florida potentially jump the gun? Maybe Corey Raymond is looking for something else, another opportunity to jump the gun. He still gets paid out of the money that he has, right, to be able to precipitate a situation, right? So I don't think that Billy Napier is saying that on paper Will Harris is a better defensive backs coach than Corey Raymond. Obviously, he chose Corey Raymond first. I just think that he's looking for that next person to fill in that role. And Will Harris, potentially his experience, his background fits in maybe a little bit better with Austin Armstrong or what they might want to try to accomplish, what they're trying to do with the defense. So, again, it's a name that isn't a star in the field, right? There's a lot of up and coming, reasons why, or there's a lot of reasons why you might like him as an up and coming coach, and we'll see, right? Florida, we don't even know what the defensive back room looks like next year, right? We don't know if Jalen Kimber's coming back. We don't know if Jason Marshall's coming back. Obviously you want to keep Jakeem
Hill.
Jaden Hill is going pro, right? You think
has
Nick?
another year of eligibility.
We might start talking about national championships if he's coming back. But no, so there's a lot of just uncertainty there. So I don't love the comparisons, and Chris, this isn't an attack on you. I just don't love the comparison to say, oh, we fired this guy. This guy's resume must be better. Ergo, we're picking this guy over that guy. And there's a lot more that goes into it than just a resume or their background and their experience in coaching.
You're also battling a perceivable hot seat, like, if you want to attract a sexy name, like it's not going to be easy with a coach that's perceivably on a hot seat, bro. I'm not going to leave a good job, and you got to find that balance. I know our staff is young as hell, but like who's out there? Like the names are flipping. Like DB coaches who we think are good. Like even when the D-line coach job comes up, it's just so many regurgitated names that I've been hearing since 2010. So it's just like,
Ed Orgeron back.
Like, come on, dog. Ed Orgeron's like my grandfather's age, bro. And like, we're out in Destin trying to see if he's shirtless on the beach and if he wants to come coach defensive line at Florida, where the fans are. But like Ed Orgeron sounds fun and all of that stuff. But like, bro, like he's old. Like who are these new, young, and up and coming coaches? Like flip the staff. If you're gonna flip the staff, you got to find a new person, a new young guy. And I don't know what young guy is gonna risk if you got a solid job somewhere else, come into play for a perceivably hot seat. I wouldn't. So
yeah. Well, first off, to address
perceivable
disrespect by Jordan Davis here. No way, he says in the comments, no way Jaden Hill has another year. Yes, sir, he does. He was a redshirt junior last year, played in 2019. 2020
Jordan Travis.
Count. 2020 doesn't count. 2021 medical redshirt. So you're in 2022 as a redshirt sophomore, 23 as a redshirt junior, baby. Jaden Hill's got eligibility. I think he would go. I think he'll go to the draft. He graduates, so props to him. Congratulations to him. He graduates this fall.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's going to test through the roof. Like his, I remember when they did like an underclassmen testing and talking to people. He's got like a 40+ inch vert. Is going to run really fast. Like all that stuff translates. It's going to look really good. And he's probably coming off of his best year and his longest stretch of being healthy. So to me, it would make sense for him to leave. But yes.
And the best DB on the team, right? Best DB on the team this year.
Well, the season goes as he goes. So I don't know that
when healthy, I would say bro, I don't know how we give that award to anybody. Cause I mean, he played well.
No, right.
I'm not going to say well, because if I could get a little picky and pick apart some things if you really, check the film. But considering what our secondary looked like and what his career has been, this is one of his better seasons. But I think he could use another year, for sure. NIL money. If just me, if I'm Jaden Hill and I'm making a business decision, I probably go to the NFL. I might get drafted. I may make a roster. I may get that income, but for sure I'm gonna get NIL income, right? And that's what makes college a little bit different now. You don't have to make that leap if you don't have to, because you can still get paid.
Yeah, I don't know. So Jaden Hill might come back. So again, you don't know what the secondary is going to look like. Obviously, you have another year, hopefully, of improvement out of your young guys at safety and DB. Or at cornerback, pardon me. I know that there's a question. I think it was Brian Gardner. Yeah, he said, is Harris the entire secondary coach or just corners? Nick, do you want to go on your soapbox again about Austin Armstrong and safeties?
They didn't give
Austin
it
Armstrong. Austin Armstrong coaches the safeties. They gave Corey Raymond the title as secondary coach because there was some NFL flirtation, and you're able to give him a new contract because you gave him a new title, and a new contract makes more money. But Austin Armstrong coached the safeties, and I believe that Austin Armstrong will continue to coach the safeties. The other thing too, real quick, on Corey Raymond, one thing that was around, and I don't know if it's just rumors. I don't like to just purport rumors, but it was that he didn't get along with Patrick Toney, something I had heard. And then when you bring in another guy like Patrick Toney and Austin Armstrong, both come from the Ron Roberts defensive coaching tree. They think kind of the same because they have the same mentor. Things will be different. Their attitudes certainly are different. But if Corey Raymond wasn't happy with one young defensive coordinator and the way that the defense is being run, you bring in someone from that same tree. It's not surprising that the two have split.
Yeah. So Will Harris, we will wait and see, and not wait and see. We'll wait on the official announcement, but as of right now, we expect Will Harris is leaving the Chargers. I almost called them the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers,
the San Diego Superchargers,
the San Diego Superchargers to come join the University of Florida. And he's got some work to do. And we'll talk a little bit about recruiting. But the Gators do have a number of defensive back prospects that they are still going after. Time for defensive line coach Nathaniel Rogers. Big fan of the show. Always here in the comments said, hey, Gators need to bring Ed O to Gainesville, Florida. Get him out of Panama City and into Gainesville.
Hasn't been contacted.
Hasn't been contacted. All right.
How do you expect
they're not interested. What are we doing here?
it's not even an option. Like, I think people forget what University of Florida is and how they roll. Like, think about how Ed Orgeron lost his last job, bro. It was controversial and a lot of shenanigans going on. Florida's not gonna hire a guy like that. Y'all can track planes, trains, buses, whatever you want.
He was in a sexual discrimination lawsuit that was eventually dropped, but there will be a Title IX investigation at LSU.
He ain't coming here
into those allegations. But look, listen, I love Ed O. He did that. He spoke to like a quarterback club, and he said, they brought me in and they said, Coach, you got $17.1 million left on your contract, and we're going to pay you that, but we're going to let you go as our coach. And Ed O goes, I asked him, well, what door you want me to leave, and when do you want me to get out of here? And love that.
Pretty good, Nick.
Thank you. Love go Tiger.
That's
pretty
good. A little Hulk Hogan in there too. I hear it,
but brother. It was funny because like everyone I talked to, like my peers, like writers, were like, "Hey, did you like say this on a podcast? Did you write it somewhere? Did you put it on a message board?" None of us knew where the Ed Orgeron smoke was coming from.
Tracking airplanes, Nick.
He's
on airplane, go to Panama City, and they're like, he must be there. It's time to go to the Edo Express, right?
Ah, man. Edo's playing hard to get. They're going to Key West now. They're tracking every beach, like in the southeast and along the Gulf Shore, being like, Edo might be here too.
Yeah, they also tracking likes, follows. That's what led them to Will Harris as well. The likes, the follows, and all that type of stuff. So I don't know why he was liking and following our stuff. Maybe he just bored and was like, let me see what's going on in Gator World. They trending right now and just started liking and following people because it's entertaining.
People were like,
did he have Jimmy Sexton? Did he have Jimmy Sexton as an agent?
I don't know. But people were like tagging him and texting him. People were like tagging him and writing his name. And if he just did I don't know why listen, the man is getting paid millions of real American dollars to just do nothing. So got all the time in the world.
Some may say there's other coaches doing the same thing, Nick. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Conspiracy theory. You think it's old Jimmy Sexton accent trying to say, oh, hey, my guy Edo's interested. Look, he's liking these recruits' tweets. He's following the Gators coaching staff a little bit. If you're going to want him, you're going to have to pay him a little bit more. Maybe get him a little bit less. I don't know. Not Edo necessarily, but just try to ruffle little feathers in the defensive line coaching brigade, I don't know.
Actually, I do think
I got to think about that.
I think Jimmy Sexton does rep him, but listen, Kendall Jenner works hard. The devil works harder. Nobody works harder for their clients.
I think it's Chris. It's Chris Jenner.
What did I say?
Jenner. Kendall Jenner.
Kendall? Who's Kendall?
Yeah, she's in the news.
Oh, that's 30
Forbes. Yeah, she's a billionaire.
Yep.
We know it. Nick.
The mom. My bad.
Yeah, you're right. The first time, Kendall, man.
She works hard too. Hardworking family.
Sure. It's my favorite Kardashian. So shout out to
you have a favorite Kardashian?
Yeah, of course, we all do. You got one too, bro. Who is your favorite Kardashian? You got one.
It's probably Chloe.
Brody Jenner. Brody Jenner is my favorite Kardashian.
Bro, shout out to Brody. I forgot about Brody, man.
Does he count?
Which one's he? He's the DJ?
You just
no. Brody Jenner was on the Hills.
Yeah.
Wow. Way back in the day.
He got out before everything got crazy. He was like, I got to get up out of here, man. My own thing.
Huh. Take some of the family money. Let's start investing. Let's get out of here.
We have a culprit. It was Blue Orange Gator, who I believe is in Twitter jail right now. He's not getting any Elon bucks. Said that he was on a plane on the way to Foley's house, and then Ed Orgeron was in Destin. So if you got an issue, wait for him to come out of jail, and you can talk to him.
Blue Orange and Jordan.
Blue Orange has a new account. He follows me.
And then Robert Kardashian is Cornelius Cromarties because he got OJ Simpson off.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's a hell of a reason.
Wild take. That's a wild take, but it's a take.
So, yeah. And then Nathaniel Rogers, we got Tommy Tupperville. I think he is in Congress right now.
I thought you were about to say a senior home.
No, I think he's in Congress right now. He was blocking all military appointments for a very long time. I don't think he's doing that anymore. But enough about oh, yeah, we got a little pause for the Robert, my favorite. He got OJ off. So, all right, anyway.
Whoa.
That's nuts. All right, Nick, the show's going off the rails a little bit. Who's your favorite Kardashian?
Rob and Bruce might have done that. Who knows, man? Anywho.
Nick, Jess Simpson, the guy from Duke, is a name. Mark Ivy from Louisville, also a name. People have been tracking flights and looking towards. I don't know if there's a lot of intel on this one, Nick, but can you give us any insight into the defensive line coaching search?
Getting OJ off is crazy.
Yeah, they have not they haven't offered the job to anybody officially. There was a defensive line coach candidate in the building yesterday. I think that's the one that fans have been talking about. That's starting to make the rounds on the message board and social media.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, as far as I know, they have not reached out to Charlie Partridge, which I think they should. Silk is clearly on the listen. If you can't make the 40 under 40 list, you don't need to be on my coaching staff.
No, I wouldn't mind Partridge. I don't know what's up, Partridge. There's got to be something in the vetting with Partridge, because we don't even contact a guy like that, and we're even after the defensive linemen that are at Pitt right now. We're bringing them on campus, so like from his resume, and even with the Jess Simpson thing, you look at Partridge resume, Jess Simpson resume. They're like you can't go wrong with either one, and I think Partridge recruits better than Jess Simpson, in my opinion. But Jess Simpson is a great teacher of the position. If he's the guy, or Nick say he hasn't been offered
before, right?
Yeah, he
was at Miami.
He's down there with Mark Ritt. Did a good job teaching. I remember the Miami fans back then. He wasn't the greatest of recruiters, but as far as teaching those guys up and getting them where they need to be moves wise, and I think that's what we're missing. Wouldn't be a bad hire at all.
Yeah, he does not appear to be a good recruiter at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think that he is. But kind of fits in. So he started at Auburn, went to Marietta High School, Buford High School. He was there for a long time. He coached the high school ranks for 20 years. And went to Georgia State. Then he went to the Atlanta Falcons. Then he got his first major Power 5 experience. He was a defensive assistant with the Falcons. Doesn't really say what he did. Defensive line coach with Miami. Then went back to the Atlanta Falcons, obviously as a defensive line coach. Then went back to Miami as the associate head coach and defensive line coach, and then has been for the last 2 seasons at Duke as their co-defensive coordinator and defensive line coach. So that's a little bit about Jess Simpson.
So why would Tim Elko not bring him to College Station?
Because he got Sean Spencer.
Oh,
correct. I think. I mean, I don't even know. Like, that's interesting that Elko didn't take him to College Station. I don't want to just pass that. I do think that's interesting, considering because Duke defensive line was also pretty good as well. So I'm curious to why he would do that. Maybe because he's still on the contract. I don't know, but maybe he doesn't. Spencer wasn't on contract,
but maybe he doesn't want to go, right? Like he's coached his entire career in the state of, well, I guess in Alabama he started. But the state of Georgia and Florida, right? And I guess now North Carolina. So maybe he didn't want to go, right? I mean,
and he does have a relationship with Manny Diaz as well. So he may want to just hear Manny Diaz out and possibly be co-DC for Manny. So all of it is interesting. I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I mean, for him, maybe he's looking at NFL prospects. Maybe he doesn't want to go to College Station. I've been to College Station multiple times. I'd never want to live there, right? We don't know that he wasn't offered to go to Texas A&M with him, right? We just know that they hired Sean Spencer, right? So we have to remember that these are people too. They're not just robots. I know a lot of them just pick up and move all around the country and they follow the coaches and everything else. But he only worked with Mike Elko for 2 seasons. It's not like they've been attached at the hip for 15 years either, right? So, we don't know if he wasn't offered the job. We don't know if he was and turned it down. We don't know if he said, oh, hey, Florida just hired their guy. I'm going to get Sean Spencer instead of you, like go pound sand. There's a lot of it that goes into it more than probably what we know.
For sure.
But again, from a recruiting perspective, I know that we didn't love, we thought that Sean Spencer could do a little bit better, but I do think that there's still a lot to say about, Jess Simpson as a coach.
Already.
All right, and then Elko from Rod Smith, Carolina Panthers wide receiver Rod Smith joining us today. Elko wanted Spencer at Duke before Napier hired him. We got a super chat. Chris Sorley coming with the positivity today. Said, What hope is Napier actually selling? Slow on portal movements, slow with coaching hires, and possibly losing a top 10 class with a hand over the face emoji.
Yeah, I don't need hope, man. Obama tried to sell me hope, and that didn't pan out for me, bro. So I don't really like hope. I like to see results. I do like the action that we had this weekend that came in. Like, it's good movement, but you got to close on some of these guys that got on campus. Don't like that we didn't have any offensive alignment on campus yet in the recruiting world, in the transfer portal world. But that's an opportunity. I'm gonna let Nick get into his, but I want to elaborate more when we talk about just the weekend and what we could possibly do D-line wise and all of that. But
yeah,
go
we'll
ahead,
get
Nick.
into transfer portal in a second. But
I think there's positivity in. I mean, a lot of it will depend on this recruiting class. I mean, I sat here and pounded the table all year long for against fans saying that, like, listen, like, the team's young. The best players on this team are guys that the staff has brought in. You're going to have to take lumps. I understand that it sucks while, like, going through it in the moment, but, like, we should have expected this. I said to expect this. I know it sucks during it, but none of this is a surprise. So if this recruiting class falls apart, that's harder to sell. I was going and looking at the transition class and trying to make sense of it because half the class is gone. So I looked at 6 other coaches that were hired in 22. And the biggest thing, the ones that had a lot of success, did well in the transfer portal. Now, Florida has done well-ish in the transfer portal. A lot of that was from UL. You know, you have a consensus All-American in Osiris Torrance, Montrell Johnson, Graham Mertz, Ricky Pearsall. Like, you've done some work in the transfer portal. Last year's class was, like, just super hit or miss.
mm-hmm.
You took a lot of dudes who I don't know that they'll play meaningful snaps at Florida in the portal class last year. But you look at Lincoln Riley had a lot of success. He had Caleb Williams come with him. LSU was in the SEC championship in year 1 under Brian Kelly. Jaden Daniels won a Heisman. Washington's coach brought Michael Penix with him. Sat there for a Heisman. So the difference to me in Florida's recruiting strategy is nail it with high school recruiting. Have to get those evaluations right. Have to have a strong foundation with high school, with our high school recruiting classes, and then supplement through the portal. So I see that as the frustration for fans because Mike Norvell, like, listen, Florida State was just too poor to fire Mike Norvell when Florida State fans wanted them to fire him. And he went and he's had unbelievable success in the portal, which is why the Florida State team was as good as they were this year. Mm-hmm. Lincoln Riley has had tremendous success through the portal. Brian Kelly's had a bunch of success through the portal. Is it sustainable? I don't know. You look at a school like Kentucky, like, it has to be sustainable for a school like Kentucky because you're never going to recruit at Kentucky like you can at Florida, LSU, Ohio State, Texas, etc. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's I see Kentucky and it was only a couple people being like, Kentucky's killing it in the portal. It's like they have to because you can't get 18-year-olds to go to Lexington if Nick Saban's also on the other line. But if a kid hasn't played for Nick Saban, yeah, we can get him to come to Kentucky. He can stay in the SEC. So it's just the difference of the strategies. And I don't know that Florida's portal strategy in the spring, I've already said it won't work. It's they do 1800s courting, and it's a Hinge, Tinder, Bumble world of quick left and right swiping. So it's to me, it's imperative that they have a strong transfer class because when you look at their transition class, half of them are gone. And I don't know that the fans listening to this will accept, we're young as an excuse for going 6-6 next season. But that transition class should be your juniors and your redshirt sophomores, should be your older guys now.
I'm curious to see how the transfer portal stuff works. I think that you're going to take a massive step back with Florida State next year, right? I think that transfer portal work. I think it works if you're looking, if you can find a quarterback that is going to be great, right? Jaden Daniels became great. Michael Penix became great. Caleb Williams transferred with the same coach, right? Jordan Travis became really good. if you can sell that vision of you have this incredible quarterback, or somehow he gets molded into one, then I think it works really well. I just don't know about the long-term sustainability of really relying on the transfer portal. Because if you look at FSU's roster, most of their team is 5th and 6th year players that are starting, right? If you look at Washington, Washington's football team is probably the same age as some of the younger teams in the NFL, right? When this COVID year ever wraps up, I don't know if it ever will, but when you finally get through that and you have 5 years to play 4 and not 7 years to play 6, I'm curious to see how it really works out. But I think a lot of those teams that you just mentioned, if you take away a fantastic quarterback that they happen to get through the transfer portal, but if you take that out, then I don't know if you can look at long-term sustained success. So I'm curious to see, right? FSU obviously had a lot of players on their team, Jordan Verse, the Fisk kid,
Right.
A couple others, right? The guy from Virginia, the DB, right? So it kind of worked out for them, but they were also selling, hey, we won 9 games to end the season last year. We have Jordan Travis coming back. We have Trey Benson coming back, also a transfer. Let's go for one big shot. And then the College Football Playoff Committee had said,
Nasty.
And just naming those quarterbacks that I named, you added obviously Jordan Travis. I'll try to dig into these numbers, but I think, and I think other people have said it, but I just haven't seen like the data, the numbers yet. A lot of these transfer quarterbacks, year 2 in that system, a huge jump. Look at Joe Burrow at LSU, Jordan Travis at Florida State, Michael Penix, all of these guys, the Heisman winner this year, Jaden Daniels, all of these guys, year 2 in offense. I think that's a big thing. We talked to Graham Mertz last week, and it was like, when I first got here, I'm working with the receivers, but like I know what route I'm throwing to. And if there's 3 guys running routes, but I'm trying to mime through a play, I only really know the guy that I'm throwing to. And now it's just a whole full understanding of it. That being said, you still have to have guys around him. You still have to have like Florida's running back room might be okay. Florida's receiver room, who scares you? Like I keep saying this. Like I think Aiden Mizell can be a great player. I think Andy Jean can be a great player, but like we don't know. They could be. There's so many people. There's so many like guys that when they sign, we're like, that's gonna be a game changer. And then 4 years down the line, you're like, that's a wasted scholarship. Get him off the team. So like I think Andy Jean and Aiden Mizell will be good players. We just haven't seen it yet. But like Eugene Wilson's the only player on Florida's offense that scares you. So you need to get a skill position player. You might need to get another running back. I think that room is okay, even without Trevor Etienne. Obviously he's a dynamic player, but I think that room has enough bodies in it. You have enough bodies at tight end, unless somebody else leaves, and you might need to add one. And then we'll get into the next super chat. But the offensive line, I think the offensive line, there's probably one player I dropped his name. I need to go find it again. But one player I think that could really help, because I think it would be your starting left tackle. Player's not in the portal yet, though. But would be your starting left tackle. You can flip Austin Barber back over, but like you have to upgrade your offensive line.
Yeah, not just upgrade it. You need. That's why it's going to be tough for Billy. Just keep it a bean, because like you need depth. As we saw, guys were everywhere. You rotating them, putting them in different spots, and those guys was lacking talent. And then you're rotating them in spots they're not even comfortable with. We need a lot of depth, man. Jordan Seaton committed to Colorado this past week. I think he's a guy that could possibly play early, but like they need depth and they need a talent influx in the offensive line room. And I don't know if we do that in the portal from what it looks like right now. You'll have a second window in the portal in the springtime, but right now I don't like the movement. As far as wide receiver, I do like just what I'm hearing. They are trying to bring in some veteran guys to mix in, because I do think highly of the freshman that came in last year, Andy Jean, Aiden Mizell, to go along with already Eugene Wilson, who's showed some promise. But the guy that's at Wisconsin that played with Mertz, just looking at his film, Shamir Dyke, I know we've offered him. There's been some contact, but if you go and look at him and Mertz chemistry, like it's like Ricky Pearsall and Mertz chemistry. So getting a guy like that in will be fire. I know we contacted Ja'Cory Brooks. Getting a guy like that would be phenomenal. You just need some veteran guys to mix in with the young boys that you already have for some insurance, because Mertz deserves weapons. He's shown that he can perform, that he can make big plays and throws. He's not Tim Tebow. He's not, Chris Leak. Not Chris. He tried to be, and they got him out the game. But you gotta get talent in at the receiver spot. I wouldn't mind Kobe Young out of Miami as well. Hopefully we contact him. Big 6'4" guy, 200-pound, can run. You just got to get talent straight up. And from an offensive line perspective, just speaking on this as well, you got to get another quarterback because Graham Mertz, he's injured right now, right? So with a collarbone injury, you're an injury away from playing a true freshman in DJ Lagway next year if you don't figure out this offensive line position quick. So you need a backup quarterback, and also you need O-line and O-line starters and O-line depth, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's
someone up there was questioning your pronunciation of death and depth.
Hey man, tomato.
Then called you country as hell, and then called you
on you.
I am country as hell. I'm from Belgrade, Florida, bro. Like I work hard on not being country.
Truth Seeker, great photo. I'm gonna guess you are in either Georgia or Tennessee with that photo. What's going on with the O-line? Are they just gonna develop what we have? Hey, like that position group should have been addressed first, but I'm just a fan. What do I know? We appreciate that comment. I think that there's still a lot of time. Offensive linemen we've talked about on this show, even before the transfer portal open, are going to be your hottest commodity. A lot of them are looking for that opportunity to go and win, right? We're going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal here in a second. A lot of them, we've had players leave this year, last year, for the opportunity to go win. There might be an opportunity for a place to go for a national championship or a conference championship that Florida may not offer right now. So there's that piece of it too. But we're 4 days in the transfer window, 5 days in. I know some schools have gotten some commitments, but a lot of the guys Florida's going after are a lot of the players that a lot of schools are going after. So they're going to go, they're going to do their visits. They're going to take some time. Transfer portal window still goes on for a number of weeks. So I think that Florida will get some good ones. I think that Florida will get some names that you've not heard of. And they're going to be competing the same way that they've been competing for this top 5 recruiting class against your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Florida States, your bigger programs, Ohio State, Penn State around the country. Florida's trying to compete with them on the transfer portal as well. So we will see. And then Anthony Beck, good to see y'all on here. Dan, stop letting Nick get killed on the message boards. Will not happen. Nick can fight his own fights. He gets paid a salary to fight his own fights on the message boards. All right. Let's get into the transfer portal a little bit more. Let's get through some names, all of that. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at lucy.co. So let me just pull everything up because I want to make sure that we don't get in trouble by the government. So go visit lucy.co/stadium. They look like this. They're your nicotine pouches. Maybe they're going to help you focus on energy. Maybe they'll help you focus on just getting a little bit of an edge or a buzz off. So go visit lucy.co/stadium. 100% pure tobacco-free nicotine, 5 different strengths, anywhere between 2 milligrams all the way up to 12. 12 is a monster. Would not recommend if you are not an active user. Cinnamon, mint, mango, wintergreen. What do I have over here? Espresso, mint. A lot of great flavors over here. So again, go check them out. Lucy.co. Tastes amazing. Flavors are outstanding. Like them all. The breakers are really, really good. Nick, I know that you've tried them as well. So again, lucy.co/stadium. Get 20% off of your order and always free shipping. Here's the fine print. This is what I was looking for. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product does contain nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. All right, let's get into what?
For shizzle.
In the
words of Dave Chappelle or Snoop Dogg.
All right, so let's get.
Speaking of Snoop Dogg, Will Harris got his start coaching. I think with Snoop Dogg's youth teams.
So I know he about the culture, man.
Bro, there you go.
That roll
Tied it all in.
Yeah, a little bit there.
All right.
Good
so
fun
let's
fact,
get-
Nick. I like that fact, Nick.
Dan, that's a dandy fact.
That's a
Just
dandy
coming-
fact.
Need to bring back the
Come
Dandy
in.
Fact segment.
We need to
Yeah,
read
Dandy Lies is hit better. Your lies hit
Dandy
better than
Lies.
facts.
Let's see here. Looking at the comments, see if there's anything else. Again, Super Chat will get you definitely read on the show. All right. So since last week, Princey Uman-Milan and Trevor Etienne were the two big names that have hit the transfer portal, both still looking for their home. Gentlemen, want to get your thoughts on Princely, want to get your thoughts on Trevor. Obviously, both still have the opportunity to come back if they wanted to. I know Trevor Etienne's mom got into it with some of the weirdos on Twitter. But what do you guys think about let's start with Princely first. Give me your thoughts.
Princely surprising, just because I thought he would go to the NFL.
Right.
And this is just my opinion. I don't know that this is factual or not, but like if he's not going to the NFL, that would make me think he didn't get the response he wanted back from filing his paperwork. And then you'd have to wonder, okay, does he think he's just not going to get developed here? Does he think that the team's not going to be good next year and they won't win? He wants to go somewhere to win. The develop question is like, well, who's going to develop him? You have no idea. He doesn't have a position. I guess Mike P is his coach. Mike P is the edge coach. So he does have a coach. Okay. He does know who his coach is. So those would be my questions. And I think that's the shocking part to me was that he chose the portal instead of the NFL. So that's just me, I guess, like letting you inside my brain, trying to figure out why that would be. But haven't spoken to him.
He's from Texas. Sean Spencer, connection back to Texas. You think Texas A&M might be a place for him, or have you?
Interesting is I think he was closer
Sean
to.
Spencer's not his coach, though, right?
No, I know, but he still has a relationship.
He could. Sean Spencer. So Sean Spencer. There was a Sean Spencer's first year. He coached.
Yeah,
he coached him. Yes. Last year they made a switch, and Mike P took all of the outside linebackers and edge. So Princely was coached by both of them.
I think Princely, it's a little tricky because it's in my opinion for him, it's a little bit business and a little bit personal. He had a rough year dealing with fans and all of that stuff. So we got to be just real about that situation. It's hard to play for a team because the fans do impact some of this stuff, and his mentions be crazy. Right or wrong. If you think you're right and going to his mentions, then that's your opinion. I don't really care, but I'm pretty sure that's weighing in it. Like you want to play for a team that's positive and encouraging you, and not you got to battle with the trolls from rivals and the trolls from your own fan base. And it's also business, so it's a little personal, a little business. Weigh your options. Lane Kiffin, like he got some great interest. Like if fans got their opinion on he stinks and he needs to go and he got a problem. Bro, our problem right now is people think Georgia's good just because of their starters. No, Georgia's good because they can rotate and not have no drop off. Like I like what we're bringing in the Brian Taylor kid, the JUCO kid. I love his film. I love what he can be as a pass rusher. But you need guys that can rotate and have depth to be able to compete because of injuries. Think about the transfers we left that are balling other places at the same position that Princely plays. So even if Princely is not hitting on all cylinders, when he comes out the game, the next guy up is going because he's been on campus a few years, been through the program, but you got to build depth. So Princely is in the transfer portal. I think regardless of what we land, recruiting wise, that we're feeling good about Brian Taylor, we need him back from a depth perception. Like you need guys. You can't just have good starters in this league and be good. You need a whole depth chart and not be relying on true freshmen. When a senior goes down, man, smash that like button. You got like 300 people in here hanging out and a few likes. Don't be a hater all your life, man. Change your life a little bit. But that's my perspective on Princely is that we need depth. You can't run those guys away. Running back is an easier position to fill in. ETN leaving is definitely not something you want to see. It's crazy on optics losing a guy like that. Yeah. And there's a lot of Georgia smoke right now with that. So that's just crazy on optics. But that's also a business move as well. Like this is what college football is now. Like players are gonna enter that free agency if they have significant value. Teams like Georgia, Texas, You know, guys that are in the playoffs, they still gonna be trying to upgrade their rosters as well and go pick off teams that probably didn't make the playoffs, that probably, you know, not getting the reps that they want. So this is just what it is. You know, I don't think it's a whole lot personal with ETN. I just think it's business. But running back is an easier position to fill in the portal than an edge rusher. But you,
Ed, I mean, that room's okay. I like that room. Jack Pyburn, got to see what his timeline is with his knee surgery. You also have, I mean, you've got Cameron James, TJ Searcy, Kelby Collins, Justice Boone. So you've got 4 guys at that spot. Brian Taylor, Brian Taylor, who's going to be committing this week. I think he told Corey either Monday or Tuesday. If you add him, I like that kid a lot. I think he's going to be good. So like that room's okay.
Don't need to be okay because we got no sacks. Like we struggle with sacks. So that room is not okay. We need guys that can go get guys. Like everybody's saying Princely's not that guy. We used to the you know, Dante Fowlers, the Javon Curry's, John Grenards, bro. Like somebody could get off on the edge and go get the quarterback. And we don't have those guys right now. Can Brian Taylor be that type of guy? Cool. Yeah, possibly. But you need that no drop off. And I think those young boys have that potential. But what I seen last year don't encourage me to say, yeah, we got pass rushers. We just don't right now. We didn't get out to the passer at all.
Yeah. So, and then Trevor Etienne, we mentioned it. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, are connecting him to Georgia. You know, again, you know, that's a decision. That's a winning decision, right? But yeah, no, certainly wish the best of luck. I think we talked about on the show last week that, you know, Nick, you just mentioned it too, probably a bigger optical loss. Obviously, he's very talented, struggled with pass blocking at the University of Florida, certainly wasn't perfect as a running back, but you know, definitely appreciate his 2 years. You know, at the University of Florida, he wore the jersey proudly, and you know he gets the opportunity to go somewhere else the same way. A lot of players.
I mean, make no mistake about it. The running back room is better with him in it. I just think that
for sure.
Running back. I just think the running back room will be fine.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I liked Cam Carroll. I think that the Gators will probably go get somebody else as well. And I know that they're still recruiting Jordan Baugh, who's the Arkansas command. I think the Kalen Daniels is really good. And I think what you saw to Trayon Webb, you know, there's certainly an opportunity, you know, for improvement there. But, you know, get Montrell Johnson back. What?
We need a line. Like we could get Barry Sanders back there, brother. You know, Emmitt Smith, you could bring whoever you want to, but what ETN did good was just to give him his flowers. And I'm with you, Chris. It may be a little personal with ETN. I'll take that back. I'll step that back. It may be a little personal if he's going to Georgia. But what you're missing with ETN is a guy that can make somebody miss. Like if somebody's right there in his face when he get the ball. Like he was good. He had moves to make people miss. And I don't know if our other guys have that. But most importantly, what makes good running backs is good lines. We got to improve the offensive line. I don't care who's back there.
Yeah. Facts. So factual. So let's get into a little bit of a running list of those that have visited during the transfer portal. Shout out to Keith.
I don't want to sound smart. I am smart, Francisco.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. So a lot of names here. Let's go through some of them. Will Lee the third is a cornerback that I know a lot of Gator fans got excited about from Kansas State. I was just going to say he ultimately did not decide to come to the University of Florida. I believe, like you said, Nick, that he did commit to Texas A&M. Yep. So I just wanted to confirm that. That was a name people were talking about. Cameron Martinez is a name. He's a safety from Ohio State that Gator fans are looking at. Oregon defensive back. Traquise Bridges, I think, was on campus this weekend. 16 tackles, 91 over his career, 4 interceptions, has 1 year of eligibility left. Let's see.
Don't like the defensive back action there. It just gives me RJ Moten vibes a little bit with Martinez and
Penn graduate transfer defensive tackle Joey Slackman was in town this week. Was an all Ivy League player. Offers Arizona, Miami, Michigan, Missouri, UNC, Washington, and Oregon State. He visited, seemingly went really well. But again, he's a guy that's going to look at multiple schools as well. Some other names, pardon me, DeAndre Jules, the defensive lineman from Pitt, was in town, 6'3", 310 pounds, started all 12 games, 6 at defensive tackle, 24 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Is it Chamire Dyke from Wisconsin? Also visited the Gators as well. 19 catches, 328 yards, 1 touchdown. He, in the year before with Graham Mertz, 47 receptions for 689 yards. A lot of other names that are out there, but those are some names now. Any names that stick out to you guys that I did not mention?
Nick, you're muted.
1, Graham Mertz, left tackle from Wisconsin, Trey Wedig.
Okay. All right.
Entered the transfer portal. Go get him. That's the guy I was talking about. I was making sure he was in the portal. That's the guy that I would say you would throw at left tackle, start 6'7", 300 pounds. You'd be able to move Austin Barber back to a right tackle, where I thought he played better as a redshirt freshman than he did as a redshirt sophomore on the other side. And then you've got some young guys. Like, you still need help. You still need to go get guys. But I think if you can get Trey Wedig, who has Graham Mertz been talking to him, because players can talk to each other. They've got long-standing friendships. That's not tampering, or that's legal tampering. So that's a guy. That's a guy. Hey, that's if I'm making a players of need, I put him at number 1 for Florida right now. There's a strong connection there with Mertz and an obvious need at offensive tackle.
Yeah. And then Chamire DK, Reed Smith, Chamire DK, not Dyke.
We're just hey. So Dan was like, "Am I saying that right?" And Silk and I were like, "Listen, brother, if you want to jump into the fire, we're not following you. Go ahead."
My apologies, Mr. DK. Xavier Sori, his cousin, used to be on staff with the Gators.
Yeah, right.
Linebacker, University of Georgia. Nick, you've been beating this drum on Ja'Cory Brooks, the Alabama wide receiver, as well. So again, some names. I know Will.
If Florida. So I was told that Florida was trying to get him. And listen, like I say, Florida's trying to get him on campus, and then he doesn't show up last weekend. People are like, "This staff sucks." It's like, listen, there could be 1,000 reasons why. It's finals week. There could be 1,000 reasons why something doesn't happen. He can come midweek. He can come Tuesday, tomorrow. He can come Wednesday. He can come on the weekend. When he wants to come on campus, sorry, my bad. Yeesh. Whenever he wants to show up on campus, you accept him. And I think if Florida can get him on campus, they'll have a good shot. Yeah, he's a kid who I don't remember his recruitment. You probably remember it better than me, but like there was something like he was going to be coming to Florida. Something happened.
We felt good because he had family on campus or whatever, but it got a little weird, I think, with reporting it, something leaked out, whatever it may be. I do think our receiver, if your receiver, Florida looks attractive with what Ricky Pearsall, Eugene Wilson, what they've done. Like, it's not what it was last year when we was trying to find guys in the portal. Right. So I do think, regardless of the record, if you're a wide receiver, you go put up some gaudy numbers. If you're wide receiver 1, 2 in this offense, and you got a quarterback, a lot of these Florida State, Miami, a lot of other people that are looking for talent in as far as wide receivers don't have stability at the quarterback position. So that's one thing we do have in our favor.
And what Graham Mertz did on the field should help you getting those guys. Like he proved himself. I mean, I was sitting here being a hater on Graham Mertz, maybe. Like Graham Mertz has earned his flowers, earned my respect. Like, Graham Mertz should be an attractive quarterback for skill position players, receivers, tight ends to want to come to the University of Florida, especially when you look at the depth chart at receiver and you think, okay, listen, if I'm a junior, I can start over this redshirt freshman for sure. I can do that. That's got to be the mindset of the guy in the portal. I'm not saying that those guys stink on Florida's roster. Just trying to think of 1,000 different ways what I say will be spun. But like as a redshirt senior, redshirt junior receiver, you got to look at Florida's roster and think I have a good shot to come and catch passes from a proven.
Jeez Louise, Nick.
All right, boys. Same corner next week, same time. Really just stumbling today.
Jeez. Will Shepard from Vanderbilt, also in the portal. Is that a guy that you think Florida might go after? I'd like to. Like Will Shepard.
Somebody said outside the false starts, George wasn't terrible. I don't want to like read all the comments, but I don't know what games y'all were watching. We need all the help we can at offensive line. Defensive line, I do think like this thing could look totally different. I know we got a lot of space eaters, but you get Joey Slackman on campus. You get the guy from Pitt. I don't know where we at because I don't think he did even an exit interview with On 3, did he? Right. So, but if you could get those two guys and you get the Brian Taylor kid, you keep Uma Nealon, like and what we already got with Cam Jackson and everybody else in that defensive line, like you can reload that room and make it look a little bit different. Because I think we're just missing some explosion and get off. And Slackman obviously looked different than the defensive tackles we got on campus. Like somebody was saying, man, he looks small. I was like, nah, he's just in shape. He's just like not fat, but he's 300 pounds. No, real shit. Like he's 300 pounds. Like he's a 6'4", 6'5", 300-pound defensive tackle, but he looks different because he's more Sharif Floyd, Dominique Easley than he is Cam Jackson and Desmond Watts. So that could provide some different flavor and get off in our defensive tackle room, and that defensive line could look different.
Yeah, and that's frustrating to me is that if you know you're going to make moves on the coaching staff, we're here 2 weeks later with no movement, and you're 9 days away from the early signing period. You're hosting high school and portal recruits.
Urgency is
you get a guy like Joey Slackman on campus. Hey, who's going to be my coach? About that, buddy. Like, let's we got your contact. We'll get in touch with your people and let you what are you doing here? Like,
I think this is my take on that though.
Unless you've asked 8 people and 8 people have said no, like what are you doing? Like, why don't you have a complete staff yet?
I think because the players knew who the DB coach was before. The recruits knew who the DB coach was before. I mean, the fans don't know. We don't know, but they knew. They were saying in the interviews and the exit interviews who the DB coach was, before it got really announced. So I think if he brought D lineman, I would hope that if you bring Joey Slackman in, defensive lineman like that in the portal, you brought a couple in, that you could tell them, hey, it's Jess Simpson or it's whoever it may be, Shout out to the flight boys.
And you don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like I hire people all the time, right? People sometimes have change of hearts. People that you thought have interest might not. The person that you might have had interest in before might have had a different opportunity, or maybe they didn't want to uproot their family, right? Or maybe the timing is there's still a little bit of a waiting game. You don't know what might be happening behind the scenes to say. I don't prescribe to the idea that Billy Napier and this staff are just like twiddling their thumbs in the transfer portal, in recruiting, and in coaching, just saying, we're just going to figure it out. Got to clock in at 9, clock out at 5, and hope that we get enough done to get my hour lunch break in between. Like, I just don't think that. I think that there's a lot more that goes into it. There's a lot of posturing. There's agents involved. There's just a lot more. Like, I'm probably like, I put my foot in my mouth all the time with my optimism and my positivity, but from an operational perspective, like some of these things do take a little bit of time, right? And I know that some coaching staffs have been filled out, and I know that some have hired a lot of staff members, but a lot of that stuff gets done in the pre-work of before that person getting the offer. I just don't think that Florida's just like sitting on their thumbs trying to figure it out. I think that Florida's defensive line coach will be announced soon. I think that you go in a recruitment of Joey Slackman and you say, hey, these are who we're looking at. This is who we're talking to. This is what their experience, this is what their background is. and how that fits in. I know that it's very easy to be negative. Somebody here just said it's been weeks without any good news. Sean Simmons. I just
you got a DB coach.
That was good news.
I just don't know.
We got a kicker last week. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, we got
punter and kicker.
Coach
Punter
Couch
and
pulled
kicker.
up. Coach Couch pulled up, man. Punter, kicker. Like, what's up? I know bad news, but let me throw y'all a little. Chill out.
But yeah, no,
Coach Couch
I
got
think
us,
that
man.
this will all get figured out in the next few days. I think that you guys some will be happy, some will be upset. There will be memes made, but at the end of the day, like, I just don't think that Florida, the University of Florida, and everybody that's involved is just trying to piss you off with timing.
Georgia's looking for a DB coach as well right now, right? And they haven't gotten one. I'm pretty sure that of course Kirby coaches DBs, but still, like, it ain't quick. Like, we just want it because we're in a different type of spot than other programs. And I get frustrated with the urgency of, especially in recruiting. Like, I'm looking at Fasami, like, man, he may flip to Texas. Like, get somebody in here. I be feeling that anxiety as a fan as well. Same thing with D-line, but, just let it play out. We'll see how it all works, man. I do know that this staff they don't care to appease fans with how they move. I know Urban used to have something in the tuck for when some shit happens. I don't know if that the staff at this point care about
this staff did. You remember, like,
at first,
when they first started, anytime there was like so and so decommitted, there was like a coaching staff hire, or another person in the Army hired, and there always seemed to be that. It does seem that there's like longer stretches going, but like, listen, I think it's a bottom line business. You're making decisions this offseason that will directly impact your job status for 1 year from now. Like, if these hires aren't right and Florida goes 6-6, I don't think Billy Napier is the head coach in 25. Mm-hmm. So, like, you're making decisions. You're making decisions right now that have to be right.
Right. So, Ric Flair, shout out to Ric Flair. He lives a block away from me. So if you are the Ric Flair, what's up? Nobody ever heard of the Slackman dude before this week. It's hard to get fired up. One of the top guys in transfer portal at the position. All like Ivy League. You're not in the scouting department. I'm not trying to be critical, Silk. I want you to go, but I'm not trying to be critical. You're good. I mean, you could look at Jordan Verse, right? Jordan Verse came from the University of Albany, right? And nobody had heard of him. He had a great freshman year. All of a sudden, he goes and makes the transfer. The Fisk guy from Western Michigan, who was also at Florida State this year. Nobody had really heard of him. He enters a transfer portal. He's really highly ranked, comes in and has a great year at the university, or at Florida State University, right? There's more to it than I don't imagine that you watch a lot of Penn versus Brown football games, right? To know, but those that do watch and those that are scouting know and appreciate his ability, and that's why he has all of these suitors after him.
Yeah, some things just don't change, right? Offers is offers. Yeah, like same thing with high school recruiting. When kid, you just look at the offer list. Like Slackman offer list is everybody in the country is after him right now. Big dog. And you just everybody wants to, like, hey, let's spin the block on Chris Bogle. Bogle hasn't done anything, but it's just names that we know. It makes you comfortable. Same thing with coaching hires. Like, people be wanting familiar names that they know around, and they can say, oh, it's a splash hire, or it's a splash get. Go check out that Slackman's film. Do your own research. Look at his offer list. He's leaving us to go to Michigan, a team in the playoffs. Like, that's his next visit is Michigan. If a playoff team is after him, like, we definitely need to be after him, right? So some of this is just the same principles apply from high school to the transfer portal. Who's offering, who we in competition with.
Perfect. Let's look. Anybody else? Couple negative people driving through. Brandon.
Hey man, it's all good. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Brandon Alger, 0 commits from this weekend. In case anybody's counting, I think that there will be commits from this weekend. You remember that visit back in July where they had all those players come and everybody deemed it a failure because none of them committed, and then like a month later, you had like 7 of them in that class. Yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of. Do I think that Florida's going to get all 4 or 5 guys that were on campus? No. Do I think that they will probably get 1 or 2? I do. Do I think that these guys are wanted by a lot of other schools? Yeah. There's just very few people that only visit one place, right? You'll go visit one place, you'll go another place for 2 days, a couple days later, another place, a couple days after that, and make a decision. A lot of these guys are, have rubrics of what they're looking for, an opportunity, and you have to let them go look at what their options are.
I mean, you got to negotiate business too. Like Billy could sell the program all he want, but I got to still figure out what's my salary. I got to negotiate those type of numbers and see it ain't committing like it was before in the past. So even if the guys are committing on certain campuses, they might have seen a number that they like that day at on that visit and say, yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing. I commit. But a lot of these people are still going to talk some business and leave that campus, and then things get done like over the summer, things come into fruition a little bit later. I'm not saying that's the case, but you just got to think this isn't just committing to a football team. This is also business. And that guy's coming from Ivy League. He's smart. I don't think he's going to make emotional decisions. Wired a little different, but don't feel good that he's going to Michigan after leaving here for sure.
Nature Gator, Nick's friend Nature Gator here said, watch Slackson's post visit interview or video. Sorry, that's one intelligent football player. Sorry. Reading the comments while posting that. So yeah, no, Joey Slackman's good. He's got Nature Gator's approval too. And that's
my guy, man.
That's important.
email the owner of the company I work for because I blocked it because I muted him on Twitter. That's why.
And Nature Gator showed up to a roll up network focus group on some stuff, man. Cool guy, nice guy in real life, man.
Yeah.
How old is Nature Gator?
I'm not gonna give away any. If he wants to disclose that,
you're doxing people. That's
crazy.
That's what FSU fans do, Nick.
Put his mugshot.
That was wild.
JP Alger is the fan Bolden was talking about. JP also said no earlier. Said no. Say no to being a Twitter weirdo, something like that.
So what is that picture? What is that? Put that back up. What is that picture?
What do you mean? That's Billy Napier
with
a.
Bro, that's crazy. That's funny.
Yeah, Billy bought that life. Bro. He got the Jordan tattoo on his forehead. If I ever see anybody with that tattoo, I'm calling the cops.
Yeah, let's see. There's a few others.
That person's wearing black forces all day.
Oh, 100%.
Jordan logo on the forehead, black forces on the feet.
That's it. Say no to being a weird fan. Thanks, JP. Let's see. There was one more. Oh, and then CJ Dorsey has a hot list of Urban Meyer, Coach Prime, and Dan Lanning. So
Urban off of there a little bit though. Still high Urban, like out of touch, man. Urban's washed.
That's Billy in the new GTA game. New Grand
Theft Auto 6. Also, how do you drop the GTA trailer and be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's coming out in 2025?
That's nuts, man.
Grow up, release the game. We've been waiting a decade.
And then Kerry Howard said, thank you, Dan. I appreciate you, Kerry Howard. And then let's see, joke all you want, but Alger's going to be proven white. Seen enough to know what's going to happen next.
Thanks, Alger. When you speak about yourself in third person, like in a YouTube chat, that shit just hit different.
That's nuts. And then Nature Gator let us know he's retired to UF and Northwestern MBA.
Wrong Nature Gator
on the Rainbow River.
That wasn't a Nature Gator that showed up to the focus group. It's two Nature Gators apparently, because this guy wasn't retired or MBA.
Well, maybe he did a really good job. Maybe retired young.
This Nature Gator thought I was making fun of Graham Mertz because I said Murda Mertz one time on the show, and then our boy Harrison clipped it. So
it's stuck though. Murda Mertz it hit different now though.
Murda Mertz does hit different.
It does now. Yeah.
All right. What else do we got? We got a quick shout out to Home Field Apparel. Go visit Home Field Apparel. I think I was reading today that if you order by December 13th and they ship it to you, FedEx, UPS, they promise that they will have it to you by Christmas. Those are FedEx and UPS things. So go check out Home Field Apparel. Use promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout, 15% off. University of Florida vintage logos, as well as a bunch of different schools. About 100 different schools are launching new ones each and every week. So go check them out. Homefieldapparel.com, promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout. All one word, 15% off of your order. So do that soon, next couple days here. A great gift to get for anybody.
Okie dokie 84, Brinks University.
What happened? Oh,
Yeah,
he's talking about Walter Nolan.
Walter Nolan.
Yeah,
Big
Walter
bags,
Nolan
man.
is looking for some big bags.
Big bags.
And I know somebody in the chat earlier was saying, where is Hugh Hathcock's checkbook right now?
He has not been the driving force behind Florida's NIL.
No, he hasn't.
Big conjuring, man.
Surprisingly, somebody in the Jacksonville area, Nick, is. So I may cool off on the slander.
You may want to cool off it regardless, brother.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Dan's gonna start looking at timeshares in Duval County.
Did you guys see?
Right there on the
I
state
had a
panel.
pretty funny
look for
tweet the other
protection
day.
in Duval County.
Yeah. I had a pretty funny tweet the other day about Jacksonville. Some people got upset, but for the most part, got a lot of likes. All right, gentlemen, we are getting to the end of our show here. Let's talk a little bit about recruiting. We mentioned the name Brian Taylor. He is a defensive lineman from the junior college ranks, and he just got a recruiting prediction machine pick by Corey Bender. He is from Blinn Community College. You will remember Blinn Community College. That's where Cam Newton transferred to. It's relatively close to Texas A&M there, but he is a 3-star JUCO player. We don't get a lot of JUCO talk anymore, especially with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
But he's the number 14 overall player in the country. Rivals has him ranked as the number 4 player in JUCO, but a number 4 overall edge player in the country. So Brian, that's Brien Taylor, has offers from Florida, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Oregon, to name a few. Was being recruited by Sean Spencer. Obviously, that has changed. But again, that is a name to be looking out for. And Nick mentioned earlier this week that he could be committing in the next couple of days.
Yeah, depending on when you're listening to this. If you're watching on YouTube, listening live, it could come Monday. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast streaming service, it could also be coming Tuesday. Really good player. But yeah, like portal's kind of like killed.
Prep school and JUCO.
Prep school and JUCO a little bit. But it is what it is. I think this would be a good one. We already kind of talked about him a little bit when we were talking about, Princely in that edge room. But would be a huge addition. Corey Bender just put in a RPM pick for Florida for him.
I mentioned that.
My bad. Tough day for me, man. Tough day. Had a lot of coffee already, but tough day.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And I think that'd be a good pickup for Florida. We also talked to him yesterday after his visit, and he kind of said, play anywhere, stand up edge, play the 3, play the 5. They said that they can see him playing everywhere. And Billy Napier told him that he loves that kind of versatility that he sees in his tape.
A specimen. Like Georgia is the real competition right there. I put up a picture on my Twitter account, which is private now, but if you want access, you got to pay the fee of a follow and approval. It's like getting into UF these days, kind of tough. But you got to get those guys like in the fold, man. Specimens like that, like just don't grow on trees. Love his get off. Love for where you pause. Woo. Love how many different spots and roles that he can play, man. So this is a must-win situation. And also, like I say, I want to keep Umi. Load my room up. I need guys that could just be flexible, rotate, get to the passer, dog. Like for sure.
Yep. So that's definitely a name to be looking out for. I know Jameer Grimsley is a name that a lot of Gator fans keep asking about. A couple in the chat here. Alabama feels good there, but UF is continuing to recruit. And Will Harris will be visiting with Austin Armstrong and Billy Napier. Amaris Williams, the edge commit, did officially visit Auburn this past weekend. LJ McCray, I believe, was at Auburn as well. Amaris Williams is also going to visit Georgia. So a lot of optimism in Gainesville still about Amaris Williams. But again, when you go to visit those two schools, you have to keep it up. 4-star safety Gregory Smith is also committing, I believe, on Wednesday of this week. I know Florida
Loves
is really
it.
good.
Pause. Love him.
Loves him as well. Zay Mincy is going to be visited by the Florida staff on Wednesday. That's a name that has stuck around for the entire recruiting cycle, so he's going to get the opportunity to meet Will Harris. Some other names, Jordan Ball, we mentioned, he's committed to Arkansas, visited this past weekend as well. And he's going to be pulling up with Billy Napier and Jabbar Jalouk on Tuesday of this week. Mike Williams, Fletcher Westfall getting visits. And then Xavier Filisame is the name that everybody is hopeful, optimistic, depending on the chat. I know a lot of people are going to say that he's a flip. He's going to Texas, all of that. But I know there's still some positivity in Gatorland. What are your guys' thoughts on some football recruiting?
Yeah, I think it's Grimsley. You just love that he's still showing any type of interest at this point. Bama's in the playoffs. Nick Saban is DB GOAT, like head coach GOAT. Just the success, and he spoke about that with On 3 and them guys about the stability and what you get from Georgia. I mean, what you get from Bama and what UF offers right now with the instability and the revolving door at head coach. But I like that he's just still entertaining it. He's still letting us come into his home. He grew up a Gator fan. It sounds like he's trying to find a reason to go to UF, but it's logic may play its part. Hopefully we can get some emotions and he makes an emotional decision and comes to the University of Florida. We'll see how our defensive back coach get in there if he can hit it out of the park. Don't feel good about Fisami right now. You're going against another team that's in the playoffs. Texas, what they could provide, bag wise, we know Texas, everything in Texas. They got big bags out there. They love football a lot. It means more. So it's a lot of reason for Fisami to go out there. Does he still want to be close to his native home in Orlando? The relationship, he hasn't decommitted yet, so there's some hope, but it don't look and feel good right now with Fisami.
Yeah, I would prepare myself for that one.
I've already, it hit different.
Yeah, it might be like signing day, but I would prepare myself. Prepare yourself for that one. So get your class calculators out and figure out what the class looks like without him.
It's respect my decision season.
It is.
All right, gentlemen. Any final thoughts? Obviously, if things come up over the next couple of days, up until next Monday's episode, we will do a pop-up show with any breaking news or worthwhile information. Is Dan at a rave? Why is it flashing?
Yeah, your background's been giving me a seizure.
Strobe lights, bro.
Oh, I wish. No, I think that's just the background, the blur background going on. So I know I wish I was at a rave. One on 12/29. James Hype going to that one.
All right, gentlemen, so we'll do that. One last thing. I think Austin Maddox, I would expect him. He is one of 2 Texas A&M quarterbacks. I would expect him to flip to Ole Miss today, just coming off a visit. They got a new coaching staff. They've got a bunch of more. They're just hoarding them. Like next season of hoarders is going to have Lane Kiffin with 75 quarterbacks in his living room. Texas A&M will kick the tires on DJ Lagway. I think DJ's solid. I think DJ's solid. But just letting you know, when you'll start to see it on social media, when this quarterback is either processed or flipped, depending on which side is going to spin it their way. Texas A&M currently does not have room for another quarterback, but once this news drops with Maddox, I think this week, prepare yourself for social media to start talking about Texas A&M coming after DJ Lagway. I think Florida's done enough there. Great relationship with Ryan O'Hara, Billy Napier, and especially Joe Hamilton, Big Joe. Shout out to him. And I think Florida should be good. Also, one more shout out, because I mentioned Florida doesn't have a D-line coach. Shout out to Callie James. He's someone who I've loved watching coach on the field. He's super passionate, super technical. So I wanted to just give him his props. Like, he's out on the road right now doing the job of the on-field coach. So shout out to him. Probably a great learning experience for him to be able to go and do this. He's going to be a position coach, on-field position coach in the near future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Lagway's safe. A&M didn't waste any time. They've already, been all in on the Lagway train. Just what I know behind the scenes, like the moment Elko got that job, they've been after him. So it's not going to, like, Twitter may have, like there are conspiracies when somebody flip or decommit from Texas A&M quarterback room, but they've been all in on him the entire time. It's not a Rashada situation. The Lagways move a little bit different. We're close to, he's an early enrollee. The car is just stacked with us, and I just know from behind the scenes we're solid there. Lagway's the ultimate leader. I don't even think we get a lot of smoke there with that, man. It's just going to be fans. Some of our own fans are wishing on our downfall, which is weird, but
yeah.
Fan how you fan. I don't want no problem.
I think it's just people want Billy Napier out, and they'll, like, whatever means they think will expedite that process is what they will start hoping for, which is weird. To me, it's weird, but like you said, fan how you want to fan.
Yeah, there's a question earlier. Patrick, he just wrote a comment saying that we look really excited, really excited to this interview. I don't know. Come back. He was asking about where do you guys think this class finishes overall?
It's hard for me to know, man.
Yeah. Like, you're going to drop outside of the top 5 if you take Phil Simi out. I think you hold on to LJ McCray. I think you hold on to DJ Lagway. I just don't know what else. Like, do you flip Jameer Grimsley? Grimsley, is that how you say it, right? I kind of agree with Silk there too. Like, it seems like he's looking for a reason to come to Florida. Because
logically, it don't make sense for him to still be entertaining us, like right now.
Right.
Like,
but he continues to do it. Yeah.
Right. Inviting us.
That'd be a good get. I think, and I don't know how we do it. I can ask somebody and can figure it out. But I don't know how we do it. I think the signing class is kind of locked up. The transfer portal class is going to be bigger to me. So I don't know how you calculate transfer portal signing classes with the regular high school signing classes. Because when we're saying that Florida's 5, that's just the high school class. It doesn't include the transfer portal. I think the transfer portal is going to play a much bigger role in 2024, which then will make whatever happens in high school wise important, because if you don't perform well in 24, you're going to have a new coaching staff most likely in 25. And then the 24 class, are they even on campus anymore? Or are they in the portal? So I think the transfer portal class, based on how I think that the recruits in the high school class are pretty much locked up outside of the one we've spoken about a bunch. The transfer portal class is much more important right now.
For him to survive. Like, somebody asked me in the comments, are we getting the pieces to do I think we get the pieces to survive? On O-line, it all comes down to O-line. Us being able to protect Graham Mertz, us being able to run the ball, be competent in that manner. And I like the traction we're getting in the defensive line, but we still got to land it. It's going to depend on the portal if Billy's going to survive, and also offensive coordinators still want to see an offensive line coach move. I do think that happened. I want a little bit more urgency and wish it would have already happened, but this is just me, my opinion, and how I'm viewing it. Don't want to lay all my thoughts out there, but I do think something happens in the O-line coaching room, and we still need an offensive coordinator. So us surviving, Billy surviving another season depends on that, in my opinion.
Yeah, this comment section's been nuts today, trying to keep up with it. People are angry. Nature Gator did say, "Have a nice day, Nick."
Have a nice day, Nature.
Yeah, I want to make sure we hit super chat. Do you guys see us getting an offensive coordinator at this pace from Sam Adams?
I say
we have Ric Flair and Sam Adams here today. Big day for the show. Big day for the show. Make sure you hit the smash button. Smash the like button, not hit the smash button.
Stop asking me about Damian George, man. I'm
trying to be lots respectful. Of Damian George questions in here. CJ Dorsey is getting his opinions off daily. A couple questions about Daylon Evans too. So let's go back to the super chat. Do you guys think the Gators get an offensive coordinator? And Nick, I know your comment is Florida already has an offensive coordinator. So spare that. Do you guys think that Florida makes a change at offensive coordinator?
So I thought Here's the thing. Shoot, we're running like 90 minutes. Whatever. It's a podcast, not a radio show. I think during the year, I thought if Billy Napier looks at himself and the offense and the way things run, that he would say, I'm better served being a CEO than just being so into doing the game plan, calling the plays, coaching the quarterbacks. I can do more for the program if I take some of that off my plate. Billy Napier loves breaking down film, loves evaluating players. I think if he just had a job as just someone who sat in a room and evaluated players, he would like that. As a
Let
coach,
me introduce you to an analyst role.
yeah. It doesn't pay the same. As a coach and a play caller, I think that is the closest thing Billy Napier has to his playing days, and that's fun. He loves calling plays, the chess match of going back and forth, getting a game plan, evaluating the other defense, and then developing a game plan, and being able to call plays, I think is really fun for him. The last 5 weeks had the losses did not have a lot to do with the offense. Sure, there were times when
having fun, man.
And we talked about it, like, hey, there was a stretch against Missouri where the defense played really well and the offense just didn't capitalize. But I could also see Billy Napier looking at the mirror and being like, play calling wasn't the issue. Like we gave up 700 yards to LSU. Play calling wasn't the issue.
Yeah, it was the issue.
And the longer we go,
wasn't the main issue. I'm sorry.
The longer we go without another opening on the staff, because you have to have an opening to hire a new offensive coordinator. The longer that goes, now I think Rob Sale and Darnell Stapleton's contracts only run through the end of January.
Yeah,
all of the guys who are on the
you have an NFL hiring season coming up, Nick.
Sure. The longer it goes, with that caveat, which is a massive caveat, I think you might be looking more into Russ Callaway being upgraded.
And we got to storm the Capitol.
More.
Jeez Louise.
We got to storm the Capitol. Then all this rational fan shit is out the window. If it's Russ Callaway for me, bro, I'm getting me a tiki torch and pulling up.
A tiki torch. I'm just like, listen, I said over and over and over again, I think Billy will, if he has an honest assessment, will say, I think the program is better served without me doing that. I'm just laying out every scenario that I can think of, and you can make your own educated decision. I don't know if you've already made your decisions, but like the longer you go with it, that just seems to me like that might end up being the move. I don't know that is the move, or I certainly think it has not been decided yet. But I could see that, and I could see us going into spring with that being the case.
Man, just not feeling it. I think. Go ahead, Dan. Get your take.
No, I was just going to say, I think the NFL hiring season is going to create some changes on the University of Florida football coaching staff.
I need an offensive coordinator. I don't know when that happens, but if it's going to show me a lack of awareness and trying to be successful is the end all be all goal. Ego of play calling, ego of control. It's gonna like change my perception a little bit more on Napier if he doesn't make a change in that department. Because I just think, like, I'm not saying he was a terrible play caller in the offensive production, and what we saw was the problem, but it was a problem. Like, no, it wasn't like terrible, but it can be a lot better. There were some times, even that Florida State game, we should have won that game, hands down. There were some times where we just couldn't move the ball and do certain things. I don't care if it's Max Brown. I think there's things we could have done differently with Max Brown creatively, him running the ball. It was just no chemistry and no adjustments. After Florida State adjusted that half, we had no answer. And I think you just got to relinquish the play calling. And if you can't see that, like, that just tells me a lot. And I'm gonna grab my tiki torch.
Yeah, no, I think that there's still a number of changes that are going to be made. I think that you have a weird timeline, right, of the next couple of weeks of the transfer portal and with recruiting. But I do think from some people that I've talked to that there's going to be changes. May not be all the changes that you want. They definitely won't be all the changes that you want, right? But But at the end of the day, I do not think that this University of Florida coaching staff as it exists today will exist in the same capacity on February 15th. That gives
All
me
respect to Russ Callaway too. No disrespect, but this is University of Florida. I think highly of the university, the job. We need a play caller to come in. Like, this is my last take. I know we're going long here, but like if I got this job, like I'm gonna try to bring in the best play caller I can to try to be successful, And I think like he got to know his seat hot. So to go back into next season I'm with you, Dan. Something got to happen. Offensive line coach wise as well. We'll see if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to see some changes in the offensive line coach. If it comes from the NFL level after signing day, that's cool as well. But don't take me into spring practice with the staff as it is now.
Yeah, and again, I don't like to beat this drum because I don't know how much will change. Some people that I've talked to, and I've shared that with you guys, right, who they are, do think that there's changes that are going to be made. A couple things that I want you guys to remember is one, contractual obligation. Not everybody can just leave their school at any time. For a lot of them, there's payouts or there's requirements for UF to pay, buyouts. There's all of that. A lot of those contracts, Florida has a number of them that end in January, right? The end of January, Nick, right? Or middle of January, somewhere around there.
January 31st through January.
Yeah. So there's those things. There's still the recruiting, and I'm still a part of this team right now. Maybe I'll give you, until through early signing day. I don't think that we are anywhere close. I think we've maybe seen 15 or 20% of all the changes across college football from a coaching perspective so far. And I think you'll start to see a lot more as we get through bowl games, as we get through early signing day, as we get through the transfer portal. I don't want to cry wolf just yet. I understand why you shouldn't necessarily believe me. I definitely understand why a lot of people don't believe Billy Napier. I just don't think that we're anywhere close to being done yet.
Yeah, Kirby Smart could call his own defense, but he got Muschamp.
Yeah, it's not bad. And he's got the other guy. What's his name?
Yeah, just you go get guys, bro. Like Kirby don't need Muschamp, but like if I could delegate my time elsewhere and put a brilliant mind at defensive coordinator, even though I'm a defensive guy, fuck the ego. Run that Muschamp, and I'm gonna go do some other things, CEO this thing, and help you out when you need help. So like you having and you think of yourself highly in the offensive play calling role, that's cool, but delegate that, man, to somebody else that's talented for sure.
Bro. CJ Dorsey.
CJ got the caps. He got the caps. He ain't even got like regular. Hey, cut the caps off, my boy. We see it.
We've seen your stuff, man.
All like, I'm not mad at it. Fan, how
hey, bro.
Fan, bro.
The algorithm likes interaction.
Just keep going. Make sure you hit
I got my hot board ready. You ain't got to tell me to get mine ready.
Too.
I got Prime on my hot board too. Shit.
All right. Let's see. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? Nick, I know you have Song of the Week. We've got to do a quick ad read. Any final thoughts? It was a hell of a show. I know we were a little off the rails. You guys drove us straight off. Starting from the beginning of the show. We appreciate everybody's super chat.
I don't care how bad Billy is doing. Y'all already it's Mario Cristobal down there. Y'all already saying we're gonna lose to Miami. Nah, bro. I at least gotta beat Miami. Then if he gets fired, he gets fired, bro. But if he does lose that game, I think he's out for sure. But y'all can't concede to Miami, bro. Like
we need Cam to go back. We need Cam to go back. I forget what pod it was. My like stop trolling yourself rant. Like you're gonna get trolled by other fan bases. Stop helping them and then doing it to yourself too.
Oh no, that's some of our fans' bag is trolling our own fan base. Whatever gets the notifications, it's addictive. It's like when crack hit the streets.
Bro.
Joe M said, "You all pay attention to the wrong people."
That's
us or them.
I don't know. I want to give Ray Holbrook a shout out. Been a Gator since 1963. Biggest problem lately has been lack of continuity. Support our team.
Ray.
And
bro, shout out to Ray.
Shout out to Ray.
Shout out to Ray.
That's what happened when it's at 63. That's that wisdom. Ray been around a little bit, bro.
Yeah, Ray's seen some things. Shout out to Ray Holbrook.
And if you scroll back up, Nature had one as he and I continue to mend our relationship. Callaway's like it was. I don't know if it's like full air raid, but like the offense would be very different. Now, listen, if you have an offensive line that can't pass protect, let's go West Coast, get these balls. Pause. Get the ball out. Get the ball out quickly. But that is true. Like it's and it still could be a collaboration. Just who is making those moment to moment, play to play decisions would be a change.
Nature Gator, because you and him have been mending a relationship. He's got a question on Caden Jones. How's he developing?
It's a damn bromance going on today. Nature.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think Caden came in with the mentality that he needed to redshirt, and then that was like cemented when he got hurt. Was in a walking boot for most of the offseason. So I don't know how his progression is, because like once we get into football season, like there's so much going on that like if a guy is not playing or doesn't have the potential to play, it's kind of like on my back burner. So that's someone that like towards spring football time, like when they start doing their off-season workouts, something that like remind me back then. But yeah, because of him being injured and then coming in knowing that he was going to have to redshirt, it's just not someone that like was on, I don't think, any of the beat writers' radars, but someone that you'll look to once workouts start and we start asking people what's going on there.
Oh, yeah, we do have a couple of other things. The Gators announced that they are going to be renovating their basketball practice facility.
What a wild timing to announce that.
These people have no awareness, man.
Today, the internet is melting down about the Florida Gators. The UF football account announced that they are moving forward with an architect to renovate Florida football stadium. So again, the group is called Crawford Architects in association with Gensler. So they're going to develop the renovation plan, construction, and phasing options. They most recently, well, I guess in the past, they've worked on Lumen Field, which is where the Seahawks play, the Minnesota Vikings training facility, the Penn State hockey teams, Pagula Ice Arena, and the Green Monster seating expansion project at Fenway Park. So they announced that at probably the not best time. So
Stevie Wonder can read a room better than whoever decided to throw that out.
First, I thought the punter kicker commit was wild. And then they dropped the stadium renovations. I was like, "Come on, man!" Like,
and then our dog Graham Hall posts right after that, $8 million going to basketball's facility, and I'm just please, guys, stop with unless it's like a commitment or a massive donation to like Florida Victorious or the NIL. Like the fans did not need to know. The issue is you've got so many different hands. Like you need a good product on the field, and you need NIL money for that. You don't need to upgrade the swamp. And some people might want to. Like there's an older generation of guys, people who are in their 60s who have had season tickets for 40 years might want handrails now.
It's not just that. No, it's not just that, Nick. If you make certain improvements,
because ADA compliant,
stadium up to ADA compliance,
not the rest of the stadium. It's sectioned off.
Handrails is hilarious, man.
I'll have to look more. Regardless, Florida would then have to make a lot of additional ancillary improvements or upgrades just to get there as well. But
because the swamp was built before ADA compliance was federally mandated, so you're grandfathered in. But so the way when we talked to Scott Strickland about some of this, it was like if you wanted to put a seat backs in, you would have to do that entire section would now have to be ADA compliant, which is like wider steps, handrails, a bunch of different things that you don't have to. So the battle in modernizing and updating is you're going to lose seats, not because Scott Strickland doesn't think Florida fans are going to come to Florida football games, but because you then have to become ADA compliant. So you can let the stadium sit there and rot and get old, but at some point when you want to upgrade it, you're going to lose capacity unless you add like close off the sections on the north side. or add a seat a mile up in the air. Like once you become ADA compliant, you're going to lose seats.
Yeah, there's that component of it, and there's also I don't think anything has been announced in terms of plans yet.
No,
have
they literally just
they just
hired a
announced that
design
they're
team.
making a renovation. What if they were adding seats? No, they're not going to. But I think that there's a lot of premature thoughts on what they're doing. The project right now is slated to be $400 million. It could be $700 million. It could be $1 billion. I know that there's a lot of different things out there. We had Scott Strickland on the show last year. I don't know if we'll be doing that again in the future. If we do, it will be without you guys in the comment section. But
that's a pre-recorded show.
Oh, yeah, you can't do
it might look live, but that's pre-recorded. I don't know that he's been on something in a while, and it's in his contract.
On here.
It's in his contract that he has to do public appearances. So maybe we need to see if we can get him back on.
Yeah. Regardless,
that won't be a live show.
Yeah. We just let CJ and Chris Sorley pull up, and I think everything will go fine. Just need two Patreon members type.
I wonder.
So again, we will wait and see, but the timing of it was certainly not received well by the Gator faithful. So with that being said,
it was like trying to be a Friday news dump though. Like it was like 3:45 on a Friday.
They might have been holding it for like a week.
Just the wrong Friday. It was a Friday news dump, but the wrong Friday.
Like, if they keep holding it, waiting on like a good time to drop it in Gator Twitter, it would have never happened.
That's okay. Fair.
They got to drop it eventually. Like, bro, we've been holding on this shit for like a month. Like, we got
no laughing about handrails. Very, very important. Everybody's getting older. We all have older parents. I think Nick was
I didn't
not making a tongue-in-cheek comment, but if you
it's not wrong. I need handrails too, man.
Apologize. Isn't $400 million excessive? That's a crazy amount of money for renovations. That's what these things cost. They're huge structurally. Very, very, very expensive to make changes from a demolition perspective all the way through construction, installation, and everything else. A lot of heavy machinery, a lot of stuff that is very expensive, a lot of workers. It adds up really, really quickly.
Can we just get like just like 100 of it just to sit it aside for like when we want to just go crazy like Georgia on the trail?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
Why not? Yeah.
This is my vote.
Let's see. And then I think that's it. All right. Everybody, thanks everybody for watching. Before you leave, go check out alumnihall.com. It's Christmas time, holiday time. Happy Hanukkah for those that celebrate as well right now. But that time of the year to go visit Alumni Hall. If you're in Gainesville, go visit them on Archer Road, right near the Chick-fil-A and everything else, right off of right off of I-75 there. I heard you, Silk. We'll get to that in a second. alumnihall.com. So we do have breaking news on to the show today. Xavier Filisame, who we just talked about 15 minutes ago as a potential flip target, has announced.
Where did he announce? I don't see it.
Me neither.
No, that's what the never mind. I take that back. We're going to cut that out of the show. All right. So with that being said, that's what I get for reading the.
Yeah, we get. I told you our own fan base trollers, man. Like,
that's
I was looking for it myself. I don't see it.
Yeah, True Seeker gave us money earlier and then just said that he flipped. So anyway, Nick, you have song of the week.
I take that back.
I'm big holiday mood. I'm gonna go with Pentatonics.
Hey, True Seeker, bro, that ain't funny, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog.
I'm going.
I was about to cry.
Pentatonics, really cool a cappella group, and my favorite song from them is Hallelujah. Get yourself in some.
Here's like. Just before we get out of here,
we did read your super chat. That's ridiculous.
Bro, I can't believe you got us like that, bro. Like that's not fun, man. Like I thought we were gonna at least go in home. For some of you say that, I was about to shed tears after saying I'll never cry on the podcast. I almost did. I almost did. Get like decommit when I'm not recording live. How about that?
Jeez Louise.
Here's my just some advice. It's okay to disagree. Just don't go to disrespect, man. It's all right to disagree about fandom, life, whatever it may be, just in life in general, but just don't take it to disrespect. It's not that serious, man. So that's just my take on anything in life.
Perfect. Nick, anything?
No.
Don't troll us while we're doing a live show. We're trying to
That's
do this for you
crazy.
guys.
I'm trying to keep it
Yeah, and
professional,
I
man.
wasn't even the one that got trolled. Silk mentioned something in the ad read, so you're trolling the wrong people. Go tell FSU fans that the college football committee changed their decision.
That's crazy. He did that to us, bro.
Yeah,
Thought
I
we-
appreciate your money earlier.
Truth
And we
Seeker
did read
came
it.
and lied. How you
We
Truth
did read it.
Seeker? Your
Truth
name is
Seeker.
Truth
I
Seeker,
even
bro.
commented that you had a cool photo. I'm like, man, I think that picture was probably taken in Georgia or Tennessee, and then I read it. So,
You think his homeboy took that picture or his girl?
all right, we're
Hey,
gonna
bro.
be nice. All right,
Snap it now, bro.
All right, guys. We'll see you at the same corner, same time next week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll give you guys an update next week about what we're doing around the Christmas and New Year holiday because those are on Mondays. We'll see you guys later.